Coming up on SBU TV, political races heat up in Cattaraugus County, and a local school finds traces of lead in its water line. Good morning and welcome to SBU TV. I'm Sammi.
And I'm Natalie. Portville Central School found traces of lead when testing some of its water fixtures. Amelia Kibbe has more.
Portville Central School Superintendent Thomas Simon has practice handling problem students, but this school year he's also fixing problem pipes.
Lead in public places has become a point of interest.
District officials began testing for lead when the elementary school began a new capital project to replace plumbing. Simon says the results show out of 96 samples in the elementary school, 9 came back elevated, while at the high school, 12 out of 94 samples. High levels of lead in drinking water, like those of the much-covered story of the 2015-2016 crisis in Flint, Michigan, can cause developmental delay, learning difficulties, and abdominal pain. However, Simon says the story in Portville is very different.
With groundwater or issue with the water that you obtain for your municipality, potentially containing lead, and then you have the solder and the metals that are contained in your faucets. So those are two separate issues. Portville Central Schools issue is the fixtures, the solder. Flint, Michigan's issue was the fact that it was picking it up in the groundwater.
Simon says most of the fixtures that came back elevated are not used for drinking, but rather are science sinks in this shower actually used for storage.
None of our drinking fountains that are used on a regular basis or in the hallways were elevated.
Simon says school officials continually update the school's website, and only one parent has called with concerns.
Simon says any pipes put in any building after 1986 likely contain some levels of lead. He believes other local schools will test and fix similar issues soon. With SBU TV, I'm Amelia Kibbe.
Simon says the school has closed any fixtures that reported elevated levels or clearly labeled them with do not drink signs.
A nationwide spook made its way to campus earlier this month. Natalie has the story.
A national trend hit home earlier this month when a creepy clown was spotted on campus. Clown sightings have been reported across the country, causing arrests, threats, and physical harm. I spoke with St. Bonaventure Security Director Gary Segrue, who offered his account of the incident.
2 students were walking on the east end of campus and thought they saw a person dressed up as a clown in Bob's Woods. That scared them, so they did the appropriate thing and contacted safety and security.
Bonaventure students quickly assembled into massive search parties for the supposed clown.
There was 3 groups that kind of armed themselves with hockey sticks, tennis rackets, baseball bats, and they went around campus searching for this supposed clown. There was also a sign-up sheet put up in one of the dormitories of an anti-clown army with several names on it, which is not the appropriate response to take.
With Halloween quickly approaching, people are considering whether or not to dress up as a clown this year. Stores such as Target have even banned the costumes from their shelves. But will this prevent people from wearing it? Here at Bonaventure, security will not be taking any measures to prevent students from dressing as one.
We're not going to do what several campuses across the country have done and ban clown costumes for Halloween. Personally, I think that's silly. However, people have to use good judgment and common sense.
Segrue also told me that there have not been any clown sightings since earlier this month. He offered some final advice to those dressing up for the holiday.
Is it appropriate to dress up as a clown? I think there's a lot of costumes out there that we can choose otherwise.
For SBU TV, I'm Natalie.
Safety and security is on call 24 hours a day. They can be reached at 716-375-2525.
This week in our Fall Fun Ideas, Madeleine took a trip to a local apple orchard.
It's apple season in the Empire State, and that means time to take advantage of local apple orchards throughout the area.
Here in Forestville, you'll find Meadows Farm, where you can shop, pick, and eat.
Meadows Farm is open 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily and is located on Prospect Road, about an hour drive west of Lian. The farm offers a variety of apples, including Fuji, Cortland, Empire, and McIntosh. Pre-packed pecks and bushels are available for purchase, or you can pick your own, with prices ranging from $4 to $23. Besides apples, squash, pumpkins, maple syrup, maple sugar, and even popcorn are available for purchase. The owner, Bill Meadows, makes his own apple cider every Thursday, but it sells out fairly quickly, and by Wednesday, there's almost none left. For SBU TV, I'm Madeleine Faircloth.
For a full list of apple orchards near you, visit nyappleorchards.com.
Cattaraugus County recently made the old tobacco purchasing age go up in smoke. Chris Gilbert tells us more.
Cattaraugus County has shaken things up recently with changing the age to purchase tobacco products from 18 to 21. The reason they did it? To protect the health of their citizens.
This county statistically, and this has been for several years, unfortunately the statistic has been this high. It's probably the third highest smoking rate in New York State, with almost 25% of adult smokers. Hopefully by reducing the number of people using tobacco products, then the health of the community will improve.
Businesses in the area are not happy with the ruling, and they failed to comment on the story. But as for the local smokers, they're actually thinking this will help them in the long run.
I think that'll help me, because I'm trying to quit smoking right now. So for to not have that access right there, I think it would be a good thing, actually. It's actually a good thing for something I've been struggling with for a while. If I didn't pick it up at 17, who knows, I might not be right now.
The law officially goes into effect November 1st. For SBU TV, I'm Chris Gilbert.
Though the change was made with Cattaraugus County's health in mind, the ruling already seems to be creating backlash.
State Senator Catharine Young announced a grant on Thursday that will help renovate a local recreation center. Brittany Slomba has more.
New York State Senator Catharine Young has secured a $200,000 grant to assist the city with renovations to the William O. Smith Recreation Center.
The William O. Smith Recreation Center will be able to meet the needs of Olean residents and visitors and help preserve this historic building for future generations.
Senator Young said that the funding for the renovations will help keep the tax burden down for city residents.
It's very important that we secure the funding that's necessary to get the job done so that the project can move ahead, and at the same time we can save costs to the local taxpayers.
City of Olean Mayor William Aiello said the upgrades and repairs funded through the grant will allow future generations to enjoy the recreation center.
We are very thankful to have such a person as Kathy Young in our corner.
Director of Recreation John Anastasia expects the renovations to be done in a timely manner.
We're going to start the renovation when we close the ice rink at the end of March, and we hope to open back up in mid-September, so roughly around 5 months.
For SBU TV, I'm Brittany Slomba.
The city has also acquired 2 other grants in the amounts of $500,000 and $420,000.
USA Today's most connected millennial added Bonaventure to his network this past week. I have the story. An entrepreneur, a TED speaker, and a best-selling author, all by the age of 21, Jared Klienert came to Bonaventure's campus to talk to our students about young entrepreneurship.
Never before have young people had this much power, positioning, and potential to change the world.
Jared has made it his mission to find young people doing extraordinary things. Now he's come to Bonaventure to push our students to pursue their dreams.
I've gone from 16 to 21, and I've built a world-class network in 5 years where I know New York Times bestselling authors, celebrities, you name it. I've been able to grow a successful consulting company with top clientele. I have my second book coming out. I'm speaking at an Ivy League university tomorrow, even though I never went to college. And so this is the kind of impact you can have when you're really conscious about what you want to do in life and when you figure out your zone of genius.
As a young entrepreneur, Jared is no stranger to millennials or the challenges we face.
You might be fired from a job, and maybe that job wasn't right for you, so it's actually something that you need to use for your journey and let it propel you forward.
Graduate student Brian Wainright appreciated Klienert's talk.
Having a young millennial like Jared coming out and kind of sharing his insights on, his business and speaking services and all of that, it means a lot to the students and provides a lot of valuable insight. So.
Klienert second book will be released in January of this year. For SBU TV, I'm Sammi. To learn more about Jared and to buy his books, go to jaredklienert.com.
University Ministries helps students connect with the Islamic religion. Katie Brown has more.
Prior to last Friday, St. Bonaventure students interested in or a part of the Islamic faith had little to no transportation to a mosque. Thanks to a persistent student and some faculty, this changed.
I don't have a car here on campus, so getting to the mosque was pretty difficult. So I sent out a few emails to University Ministries, and they provided me with a van. Now it is a reality. But they were very helpful and very determined to help me get to my religious prayer, even though it was different than their own.
Coordinator of Operations Kate Dillon Hogan felt getting the transportation for Muslim students fell within Franciscan values.
I think that this was a way for us to be true to our own mission statements, which is we are about faith formation, to students who may be other than Catholic.
For both Muslim and students interested in other faiths, this is the perfect opportunity for them to get involved.
I think it really brings all of us together to give others the opportunity to experience a religious faith outside of their own, when they typically wouldn't have that opportunity.
Thanks to Amina's efforts, Dillon Hogan hopes to get more students of different faiths coming in looking for help.
There are other students who want to get to a service or something. I'd like to hear from them and see how we can help them too.
For SBU TV, I'm Catherine Brown.
The bus runs every Friday and picks students up at 1:15 in the parking lot between Devereaux Hall and the Hickey.
2 St. Bonaventure students are starting a new campus club. Lian Bunny has the story.
Juniors Jordan Boland and Armand Panahi are giving St. Bonaventure students a fun way to practice a new language. They took Introduction to Sign Language classes and are now starting an American Sign Language club on campus.
So from that desire to kind of spread the awareness, and we saw other universities also have similar clubs, we decided to get one started out at St. Bonaventure's campus.
The club has more than 30 members so far. Boland says the club members want to increase student, faculty, and community involvement with the deaf culture. ASL is often overlooked.
I always like to use the example of whenever someone says hola, everyone knows what that means for the most general sense. And everyone could do basically a basic introduction in Spanish to a Spanish-speaking person.
Club advisor Angela Reisner says she hopes the club will get involved with the local deaf community.
Let people know that it's not just a disability, that it's a culture, and that they have their own way of life, and it's unique and special.
The club meets about 2 times a month to plan events, to teach each other sign language, and to practice their ASL. Members are currently planning a fingerspelling event for November 3rd. The time is to be determined.
It also gives students the opportunity to work with other students, get to know other students, get to know faculty, and really just bring a sense of awareness about deaf culture.
With SBU TV, I'm Lian Bunny.
To learn more about the club, email one of the 2 co-presidents.
It's election season, and Nate Descavage takes a look at all of the races on the ballot.
While the nation focuses its attention on the presidential race, residents of Cattaraugus County will have a few more races to vote in come Election Day this November. Located in the 23rd Congressional District of New York, voters will have to choose whether to re-elect Congressman Tom Reed to his 4th straight term in the House of Representatives or retired Marine John Plum on the Democratic ticket. Tom Reed is considered the favorite according to 720towin.com. However, the Plum campaign believes they have a legitimate shot at winning, citing Reed's 2012 re-election where he won by mere percentage points. In the United States Senate, 3-term Senator Chuck Schumer seeks his 4th term against Republican nominee Wendy Long. Long lost to New York's other Senator, Kirsten Gillibrand, in 2012 by about 45% of the vote. In the final contested race, incumbent Catharine Young is a favorite against Democratic nominee Lee Hyson for the 57th District of the New York State Senate. Prospective voters can use the website ontheissues.org to research candidates' voting history and see where they've stood in the past. For SBU TV, I'm Nate Descavage.
You can go cast your vote at the Allegheny Community Center on November 8th.
Things are getting musical here at St. Bonaventure University. Katie Brown has more.
The highly anticipated Jazz and Wings concert made its first appearance this fall at the Rathskeller. The audience enjoyed juicy, fresh wings and jazz numbers ranging from The Girl from Ipanema to St. Thomas. The best part? It's all free. The concert lasted 1 hour and featured Dr. Les Sabina and the Sextet. For SBU TV, I'm Catherine Brown.
Les Sabina is a professor of music here at St. Bonaventure. I think when I tried the Death Wing in Buffalo, jazz would have definitely made the experience a little better.
Oh yeah, you gotta love chicken wings. They're my favorite. That's all for us here today at SBU TV. To see any stories you might have missed, check out our YouTube channel. I'm Natalie Kucko.
And I'm Sammi Arena. Stay tuned for the Wolfpack Report coming up next.
Welcome to the Wolfpack Report. I'm Mike Disanto.
And I'm Jessica Donan. Today I'll be interviewing with Lauren Doversola, a member of the women's tennis team.
And I'll be talking with women's soccer head coach Steve Brdarski.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Wolfpack Report. I'm here with women's tennis player Lauren Doversola, and we're talking about how they're preparing for the upcoming season. How are you doing, Lauren?
I'm doing good, Jess.
All right, so to start us off, how did you come to St. Bonaventure from Hawaii?
Well, I transferred my sophomore year. I was looking for a D1 college, good athletics program, academics. We have a really good accounting program, so that's what really drove me here. And our team had some openings, so our coach had extra money, so I just decided to come here.
All right, and when did you finally decide that you wanted to play tennis in college, and at what age did you actually start playing tennis?
I started playing when I was 5. I would just play for fun. And then around end of junior year, a bunch of my friends were signing with colleges, so I had actually quit, but then I decided to play some more junior year. And then senior year, I signed with Harding University in the South. So 17.
All right, and I know you had a wrist injury. Tell me a little bit about how that happened.
Well, my freshman year, we were throwing a medicine ball just during workouts, and then it just flipped over. And then actually, sophomore year, I had a cortisone shot. It really inflamed my wrist, so I didn't play sophomore, junior year. I had surgery junior year. Sophomore year was a cortisone shot.
All right, and how are you coping with that injury and the frustrations that might come with not being able to play?
I mean, I had it for a year and a half, so I didn't get to play my whole sophomore year when I first came here, so that was rough. Junior year, I didn't play. I played with one hand because my hand was in a cast because of the surgery. So I had an 8-14 record, so it wasn't great losing, but I was happy I got to play still. Doubles was pretty good, actually. Me and Miriam Scarlazzi, she graduated last year. But yeah, it was fun.
All right, and when are you expected to be cleared now?
Hopefully next week. I just need a follow-up doctor's appointment, and then he just has to give the okay, and I'll be back in for the spring final season.
Are you excited about that?
Yeah, it's my final season. I'm stoked. I'm not going to be injured.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. Have a win-loss record, you know.
All right, and what are your predictions for the whole team this year?
Our team, actually, there's 8 of us, me and Mara seniors. We got 3 incoming freshmen. They're all solid, so it's awesome. It's going to be a little different because it's a new team vibe, but we're all learning to work well together, new doubles combinations, so I think it's going to be a good season. Finish strong.
All right, and tell me a little bit about your team and how you guys support each other when you're on the court.
We're really good at morally supporting each other. We cheer. We mentally, sometimes coach can't be on all the courts at once, so we help each other by coaching each other. And we're mostly just there cheering for them because it's a completely mental game. So it's not only just physically hitting the ball in, we need coaching as well to win the point and win the game. And it's better to get it from an outside perspective. So us helping each other out really helps when coach can't be there on the court.
And do you have any superstitions for your games before or after?
Oh, I do actually. So when I serve, I bounce the ball 3 times, no more, no less. If I bounce it 4 times, I'll start all over. And I actually almost got a time penalty because, like, I did it wrong so many times. I had to keep doing it. And then I just bounced it 4 times. Like, I don't even care. I threw it up, and I double faulted. I already knew when I threw it up, I was like, I'm going to miss it because I didn't see those 3 bounces. But it's fine.
All right, and tell me about your practices and, like, the lineups. Like, do you have the same drills every time, or do they switch up a lot?
We do different drills every time because it's really, tennis is cool because we play singles and doubles. So we're never doing just singles drills. We're always mixing up with doubles and singles. And, like, you never know if a doubles combination is working, especially because we got 3 new freshmen. So we've been trying out different combinations. So we've been doing a lot of doubles drills and singles too, I guess.
All right, and do you plan on playing tennis at all after college?
I've been doing assistant coaching in the summer. I won't be doing it competitively, but I want to coach on the side maybe. I mean, I'm never going to drop the racket. I can't do that again. It's hard to, I've been playing since I was 5. Like, it's always going to come back to me. So, keep in shape, don't want to get fat.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for joining us tonight, Lauren.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Wolfpack Report. Today I'm with women's soccer head coach Steve Bridarski, and we'll be talking about the rest of conference play this season. How are you today, Coach?
Doing great, Mike. How are you doing today?
Very good. So, we're through most of the season right now, and what's been your impression of the team's play?
I think we've been pretty inconsistent. We've had some really, really good games. I think where the team's played very well. I think we've had some games where we've played well enough to win, just haven't finished off our chances. And then we've had some games where, I think for whatever the reason might be, just it wasn't clicking for us that night. So it's been a mix of different things. But again, I think with a young team, you're going to see those types of things, and hopefully we'll finish strong here with our last 3 games.
Okay, and speaking of inconsistencies, through the first 6 games of conference play, you lost every game. So what led to that?
Well, again, I think first and foremost, we haven't scored enough goals to win games. I mean, that's what it comes down to in soccer. I think you've seen on the men's team where they've played great defense, and it comes down to 1 play, 1 goal. So you look back to this past weekend against St. Louis. That team right now is number 1 in the conference. We played 94 minutes, and we got beat by a goal that easily we could have been celebrating a goal with 3 minutes to go in the game. So it's in our conference, it's a tough conference. You have to come ready to play every single game. I think for some of those games we have, and some of those games we haven't. And again, being a young team, you're gonna be inconsistent, but you got to score goals, okay, to be able to win games. And that's where we're at right now. We're still trying to figure that part of it out.
Okay, and unfortunately for the team, this is the program's 5th consecutive losing season. So, what needs to change?
Well, I mean, there's a couple different things. I mean, obviously, anytime you go through a coaching change, which we did 3 years ago, you're going to have things that you're going to have to build and grow on. You're going to start the recruiting process over, whatever it might be. I think there are things that we can change on the field. Again, with bringing in 10 freshmen this year, we knew we were going to be a young team, only 2 seniors. There are things that we need to build on and things that we need to change on the field. But one of the things that we look forward to is we're going to have most of this group together for the rest of the spring and for next year. So that's going to help us out, long term. Obviously, you can look at other things. You can compare ourselves to other teams in the conference, in terms of whether it be resources and funding and all these different things. But again, as the coach, I can't worry about those things. I mean, we got to worry about scoring more goals. We got to worry about playing better defense, and just being a better team on the field. But again, I think it's one of those things where, hopefully the lessons that we learned this season are going to be the benefits to next season and next year.
Okay. And for this season, the losses have led to you being out of contention to go to the Atlantic 10 tournament. So is there an attitude or a response that you and this team need to have to make sure that this doesn't happen again?
Well, I mean, I think we gave a response to St. Louis. After the tough loss to Rhode Island on the road, that was a tough game for us. And the way that we lost, we had a decent first 35 minutes, and so you're saying to yourself, okay, we're in this game, things are happening, and then Rhode Island played really, really well for the next 15, 20 minutes of the game and kind of put us out of it. So when you have that happen on the road, the immediate thing to do is you put your head down and, you kind of, sulk a little bit about it. we did nothing like that. You know, we came after St. Louis on Sunday. I was proud of the girls. You know, it's, you know, 2 out of the last 3 games that we've played against good teams in Fordham and St. Louis, who are teams that have done really well on the road. And again, we lost both games in overtime. So, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, right now, you know, we're 0-6, you know, and you look at it from that, like, we easily could be 2-4. You know, again, it's all the shoulda, woulda, couldas. I think we could have beat George Mason on the road, our very first game. You know, again, so a lot of things that are playing it out really close. We're just not getting our breaks. You know, and some of that is you know, you wish and you hope for a little bit of luck. Do you know what I mean? But in fairness, we need to go out and make our own luck. You know, make it easy on ourselves a little bit. So there's no you know, dire straits or, you know, hey, what are we going to do, or, you know, whatever it might be. I've actually been impressed with the team. Every time that, you know, we've had a game where we haven't played as well as we could have, we've come back to the next game and played pretty well. So, you know, going with the rest of the season, that's our hope. We're going to keep working as hard as we can. I think it a little bit embodies the spirit of what it means to be a Bonnie. No matter what is in the cards or whatever's going on, you're still going to go out and you're still going to fight every single game. And that's what we're going to continue to do, you know. And again, part of that, going back to next year, is, you know, we're looking to see who's fighting, you know, because, you know, we are preparing still for a year away from now, and, you know, again, we'll continue doing that. That's this spring. So, you know, every game, you know, from here on out are games where we're getting more impressions about our players and trying to see, okay, who's going to be able to help us in what role come next year.
All right, Coach. Well, hopefully you can end the season with 3 great wins. Thanks for joining me.
Appreciate it.
Problem. We'll be right back on the Wolfpack Report.
That does it for us here in the Coop Lab with the Wolfpack Report. I'm Mike Disanto.
And I'm Jessica Donan. Thank you for watching.